What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding, and today is the third day of my prep for the Mr. Olympia. And it's also my birthday. On May 6th is always my birthday, and I'm turning 27 today, which is pretty special, to be honest. And well, I'm just going to show you today what I'll be doing for my prep, how it's been changing compared to the off season, and of course I'm going to do my weigh-in right this second, and also show you the food, the cardio, some of the training, etc. So let's do it. And by the way, we also bought one of those bad boys because it's getting quite hot in the Netherlands. While it's on and off in the Netherlands, it's always a little bit imbalanced. 1 week is hot, 1 week is cold and wet. That's the Netherlands for you. But I think in a month I'm going to be very happy we purchased one of those. Anyway, let's do the weigh-in. Alright, let's stand on it. See what this is. 127.5. 127.5 is 1.5 kilos lighter than I weighed 3 days ago. That's always what happens when I start to prep. The weight drops quite quickly, and that's a good thing. It's mostly water weight, glycogen in the muscles, and you will see why, because the carbs have been dropped, the calories have been dropped, the cardio has been added. So yes, immediately a decrease in weight, and it was quite hard to actually hold on to the 129 kilograms, and so that shows I only held it for like 4 or 5 days. Before that I was 128 for a long time. So you see, the longer you hold a weight, the more difficult it'll be to lose. And the less long, the shorter you hold a weight, the more immediately you will drop it once you change your diet. So anyway, let's go to the cardio. All right, the first thing we're actually going to do before cardio is we're going to drink a liter of water. This is about a liter in here. We have 200 milliliters, 250 milliliters with 30 mils of apple cider vinegar, unfiltered, so everything is in there. It has proven to help with fat loss, digestion, stuff like that. It's just healthy overall, so why not? And I do believe it helps with insulin sensitivity as well. That has been proven too, so it's a lot of benefits. Taking it in the morning on an empty stomach has been proven to help with digestion the best, instead of taking it all throughout the day. So that's what I always do when I'm prepping. And I'll actually be adding some lemon squeezed lemon juice to here as well when I have it, to have an even greater effect. So let's drink this first. Alright, doing cardio right now, just on this elliptical bike, stationary bike. And I'm gonna do this for 20 minutes at first. I don't want to increase the cardio way too quickly. It's still 19 weeks to go until the Mr. Olympia, hopefully. And if you up it right now already, what are you gonna do at the end? Normally my cardio goes up to an hour a day in the morning. That's all I needed to do to get in shape. Maybe this time, to get in even better conditioning, I need to do more, but you'll see. Maybe I'll change the diet faster. We will see how it goes. A prep is never put in stone, set in stone. It always changes, it's dynamic depending on your progress, how you feel, how you perform in the gym, etc. You will all see how I will handle all of those situations. Anyway, let me do this cardio. This first time in a while I've been doing it like this. Normally I walk outside, and I'll be doing that very shortly again, but this time it's going to be the bike. Let's do it. Alright, I just got done with the cardio. My breakfast is in the microwave, which I'll show you in a minute. But in the meantime, I'm going to make my very much used ginger and turmeric paste, which I'll then put and mix up with the rice that I put in a rice cooker. It's better to use fresh turmeric and fresh ginger instead of the powder, because there are oils in here, a lot of more phytonutrients, which are all lost if they dry it to make it a powder. And the fresher, the better it is. So I'm just gonna put some water in here, blitz it up with this thing, and then show you the end result of this nice mixture. Alright, so this is the end result. As you can see, this is a paste of ginger and turmeric with a bit of water too, otherwise it's going to be too dry to blitz up actually. And here I already put in some of that, around 50 grams of it, because this is for 4 meals. Also, that looks like a lot of salt, but it's only about 15 grams of salt, which translates to sodium a lot less. So for four whole meals, it actually tastes perfect, and it makes the rice cook better as well. So you will see the end result when this is going to be cooked, how incredible this will look. Anyway, let me show you the breakfast. So this is the start of the breakfast. The carbs have been decreased with 30 grams by lowering the cream of rice or the oatmeal, whatever I'm using, by 30 grams from 150 grams down to 120. Here, this powder will always remain the same because that's the protein content. 60 grams of whey isolate by Gladiator Sports Pro by myself. And that's the protein content of this meal, and that's the only thing that won't change throughout this entire diet. The carbs will lower, the fats will lower eventually, but the protein will remain the same. Alright, so this is the end result. We have the cream of rice mixed with oatmeal. We have 15 grams of peanut butter, 100 grams of blueberries, 15 grams of chocolate chips, the 80% dark chocolate chips, with a lot of phytonutrients and deliciousness. So the peanut butter has been decreased by 5 grams, the chocolate chips have been decreased by 5 grams, and the carbohydrate source, the oatmeal / cream of rice, has been decreased by 30 grams. So that's the first difference of this prep, and you will see it for the rest of the meals as well. Alright, so the first exercise on this chest workout, which is the workout of the day, is going to be the Incline strength machine bench press. And actually, let me show you on my phone that I'm now following set workouts. And that's important to gauge if your strength is going down or not. So for example, I open this app called Simple Workout Log, literally very simple. I have several routines on here, and I'm just gonna pick a chest routine. Let's see, for example, I still have to make new routines because these are the old ones, but this one, for example, starts with the flat dumbbell press and then the incline strength machine bench press. So for this workout, I'm gonna do the second exercise first because that's where I want to get stronger at, gauge my strength at, and it just feels very nice. Always choose exercises that connect with you, that you can do without pain, that you feel the muscle with. For example, you can use triceps here, you can use your front delts here, and your chest. You want to feel the chest the most. If you feel triceps more, then you pick another exercise until you feel the chest the most. But anyway, let's get started. So I'm only showing you the working sets here, and the first one is obviously an incline bench press on the strength machine. So I just showed you the app that I use for measuring whether my strength is the same during the prep, and I then write down what I'm doing right here, and that's 8 reps for 160 kilograms, and then the next time I would have to beat this or at least maintain it when I'm cutting in a prep. When you're in off season, you always want to beat that weight. And usually for the first exercise, I like to do 2 working sets. So keep in mind, I did 4 or 5 feeder sets before, which means a lighter weight just to warm up. And now these are the sets that bring you to failure, which is what are called working sets. So the first one was with a heavy weight until failure, and the second one is with a lighter weight until failure, to be exact 20% lighter. And you can immediately see that you almost do 3 times the amount of reps, even though it's only 20% lighter, so it's a different rep range that you go to failure with. And then the second exercise, and pretty much any other exercise you do after the first one, you will be weaker at this. So that's why you don't just want to do write down one exercise and gauge your strength for that, because if I would start with this flat double press, it will be a lot stronger than if I did it as a second exercise. So you always want to log your whole workout and not just one exercise. So here I'm showing you the only working set I'm doing of the flat dumbbell press. I'm going to failure, and this time it's 60 kilograms. And the moment you hit failure, that's when you stop, especially when you don't have a spotter. So the first two exercises were the main heavy compound lifts. Then the third one is an isolation one. Because of the first two exercises, you already get a great pump in the chest. And then you want to use exercises to stretch out the chest again, because the better the pump, the bigger the stretch is. And even on this dumbbell fly exercise, doing it flat for the greater stretch, you can still make it an exercise that you can log. You don't just want to increase the weight a lot, but mostly you want to increase the reps here, because you already are doing a higher rep range, because doing flies with a heavy weight simply will turn it into a press rather than a fly movement. So here I'm doing at least 15 reps, and the next time, for example, would be 16 reps or just 2.5 kilograms heavier, instead of just trying to go all out with a very heavy weight. And then the next one, the last chest exercise, is the belt squat exercise by ATX. But we're not doing a squat here, we are doing some dips. Because you can use this belt not only for squats, but also for other exercises. And this is one of the ones I really like to do, weighted dips. Because I weigh quite a lot, I don't need to add that much weight to make it difficult. So this already, after having done 3 exercises, is a very good working weight for me, just adding 30 kilograms to my own body weight. And then it's time for the triceps. I always like to start out with a good isolation, just like the rope pushdown that I'm doing right here. And this working set will actually be more of a drop set. So I first did a lot of sets beforehand, 3 to 4 sets of a lighter weight to really warm up the elbows, and then move on to a heavy rope push down of only 6 reps, then do a drop set, almost pretty much 2/3 of the heavy weight I did I'm doing now, again only hitting 6 or 7 reps, and then moving to a really lightweight. But even that lightweight is very difficult to maintain a full range of motion and form with, because you can see right here the failure is there, and when you hit failure, that's when you call it a working set. I only am doing 2 tricep exercises after chest, because I already have a separate arm day in my workout split, where I really hammer the triceps with 3 to 4 exercises, and with more working set each exercise as well. So I do the rope pushdown first, so it's a tricep extension, and then an overhead exercise to not only work the small head, but also the long head of the triceps. Alright, so when I'm in prep, I always like to do, after every single workout, the vacuum practice. So what you simply do is lay on your back, pull in your stomach, and then do 30 shallow breaths. And you want to have them as shallow as possible, so you can keep your stomach tucked in as much as you possibly can. And after that, you do an exercise with your legs, extending one leg for 20 times, kind of like a bicycle crunch movement, with one leg first and then the other leg, to maintain that vacuum even during this movement, which makes it even more difficult. Just got back home, and I come home to a rice cooker that's done. And this is a result of the ginger and turmeric mix. Just look at that color, guys. And there's a difference. Here I have regular turmeric. You can actually see, well, it's hard to see now, but this is actually a good brand. It is just more of an orange color. Sometimes the turmeric has a very yellow pale color, and that means that it's not as pure, not as authentic compared to an orange color. So this is always orange, more golden rice obviously instead of yellow. And this will go with some fish. This is already done, so I only have to put this in a Tupperware box together with this good amount of rice, and then microwave it, and it's done. So let me show you. Alrighty, this is the post-workout meal. I actually added some celery to it, because from now on every single meal will have some vegetables The post-workout meal has the least vegetables, and obviously the breakfast doesn't either, since it's an oatmeal breakfast, but every single other meal will have vegetables. But this one is just easy to digest, and it tastes good with this incredible white fish and this incredible golden rice. I also added the kiwi for extra protein digestion, so let's enjoy. Alrighty, and then we jump to the next day, well, the next day after the next day. So it was my birthday, it was quite nice. We had people over, of course not too many because of the COVID-19 regulations, but still. I just had a couple of shakes there to keep my protein in, but the calories were definitely down. So I actually lost weight in total from 129 kilos to 126.9. So that's already close to, well, that's over 2 kilograms. So that was nice. But then I got to hear, and I saw on Instagram, that the Olympia was actually not cancelled, but it will be rescheduled in 2020. If you go to the IFBB Pro League page on Instagram, you will see that they literally say the 2020 Mr. Olympia is not cancelled. They will be announcing new dates soon. The contest will take place in 2020 in Las Vegas. Stay tuned here to get to know the actual news. So I don't know which date it is, but I do know it will be rescheduled. Some people say December. So right now I just started my prep for a few days, and I kind of expected it. And it's good that they're actually announcing it this soon, but now I still want to know a date. So I actually know when to start the actual prep for real. But I do know that it was a great start. I lost some weight pretty fast, and the shape was actually improving because you drop some water, you drop a tiny bit of fat, but the shape is showing, and my strength was still increasing, as you saw on the chest video. So that was nice. But now I kind of want to know a date, so I know how much longer I can prolong my off season until I start the actual prep. Because when you're in a prep mindset, everything will be to a T, and you will simply do things differently. Like the cardio, you will always do your cardio, always do your posing, always do the vacuum training, always follow the same training principles, always progressive overload, maintain your strength, always 6 meals a day, stuff like that. And in the off season, you sometimes are not as strict as contest prep, because if you're always as strict, you simply won't be able to cope. There must be a difference between a contest prep and the off season, because if you don't, you'll never last very long, and that's simply the truth. As a bodybuilder, you need to accept that, of course, you do need to eat pretty clean year round. But if you never ever go beyond or go past your set diet, like going out to eat with your girlfriend or with your family, stuff like that, or just skip a day of training if you want to go out with your girlfriend on a holiday, for example. If you don't do those things, you simply won't be happy, and you will be more stressed, and the more stress you have, the less muscle you will build. So ultimately, you gotta have fun in what you do. So, and that's what the off season is for. And then the contest prep, you will be hyper laser focused to your goals. So that's at least how I do it. And then I saw tragic news. Luke Sandow's passing. Never in a million years did I expect this. However, I don't know if you guys ever listened to Bodybuilding and Bollocks podcast with Fuad Abiad and Luke Sandow. You kind of get to know them, and I said this in an Instagram post as well, on sort of a personal level, because they don't just talk about bodybuilding, but also about their personal lives, their feelings, what they're going through. And you did understand that Luke wasn't a guy that was always very happy and very uplifted. He was uplifting to other people, but for himself he always had some issues. So that's, I think, why people, and you gotta search for this yourself, the cause why he passed at all, but some say it was not from, it wasn't just an accident, just say that. I hope it is, but at the same time, it doesn't matter what it is because it's tragic news regardless. So, but yeah, you get to know them on a personal level, and then you kind of look back at what he said, and sometimes it does make sense with the reasons why they say he's gone now. But if you know, I think we will hear the details soon enough. But a very tough time right now for people around him. So a lot has happened the last few days, and yeah, the contest prep for me has stopped. I'm doubting whether to maintain this diet and just maintain the weight or start the off season again. It really depends on how long I have until the Mr. Olympia is actually going to begin, so I know how much time I have left in this off season. Because it's, you know, but I do think it's going to be in December, and we're gonna have to see what that has to do with the ticket price for flying there, the hotel price. Some people say that Las Vegas is cheap in December, but at the same time it's the holiday season, so I don't know about the flying tickets from Europe to America. So anyway, we'll see. So I'll end the video here. I want to thank you a lot for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.